if we look at the framework of what needs to be done, we need to make it easier for people to stay, harder to leave, and replace talent. On all these 3 points, we don't need that much data. On easier to stay, we know the reasons why people have left are political and economic. If we make a country where people feel safe, where people feel equal, where people feel that this is their home and they're not treated as second-class citizens, that itself will solve some part of the problem. You won't have migration like took place of the Burghers, the Tamils, and now increasingly the Muslims. On the economic side, the cost of living is unaffordable, and a significant part of that is tariffs. The cost of a chicken in Sri Lanka is more expensive than in Singapore, and that's largely driven by tariffs. The same is with cement, the same is with steel bars. Across the economy, government policy has made it unaffordable to live in this country.
And then this is because they have to pay for the past sins of...
And for the enrichment of a few individuals who shape tariff policy for their own private benefit.
Private businessmen.
That's right. So that's on the easier to stay. On the harder to leave, again, there are provisions that exist. The Compulsory Services Act can enforce that somebody who has gone to a government university has been paid, the education has been paid for by the taxpayer, is required to perform a period of service in this country. Of course, there's the option where they can pay up their bond and leave. These are not enforced properly. They're not
actually enforced at all.
Exactly. Yeah. There are mechanisms that can be put in place to ensure that. Previous governments in the 60s and 70s did this. What do we do instead? We prevent people who are living miserable existences here just below the poverty line, who are trying to go to Australia. We're stopping them rather than putting in place measures to get the taxpayer to get the return that they've invested in these universities. And then I think also in terms of making it harder to leave, working with other developing countries that face the same issue. Points-based migration is, as I think Dilip put it, skimming the cream of the cream.